Sacred mirrors, finding ourselves in unexpected friendships. He must have spent the entire morning preparing, physically, emotionally, mentally, to reach the room. I imagined him waiting, anxious, wondering if I'd forgotten about him or changed my mind. My ETA was 8:30 a.m. It was the eve of Christmas Eve. I was stuck in my car waiting in the cold for 6.5 hours, 390 minutes to be exact. Cut off from all communication. It was a time where I was being told over and over again, wait, no, not now, come back, go away. No updates, no way to reach him. At 2:20 p.m., they finally let me in. It was all very cold and procedural, and I was met with skepticism. My presence was barely tolerated. The man at the desk barked for the number. 4321. I think I forgot. But his name is Bart. I need the number, not the name. He was clearly irritated that I couldn't follow the simplest of instructions, and as if I went there to intentionally ruin his day. I fumbled it and felt like I'd been sent to the principal's office just for being there. Eventually, I made it to the room, alone. Everyone else was already with their people. I waited and waited and waited, and eating the M&Ms I bought for him. The man beside me was sitting with his loved ones, and he gave me a look I didn't quite understand. Pity, maybe, frustration. He knew what was happening. He knew what was about to go down. It was as if it were happening to him. He shook his head and said, "This is really messed up. Sorry, sis." While waiting, I was there to see Bartholomew Crawford, not 15A4662. Prison is serious business, but in the stark utilitarian visitation room, reminiscent of a 1940s cafeteria, there was an unexpected warmth. Despite its outdated decor that met the minimum decency of standard of decency, the space pulsed with a quiet beauty. Each table held a unique story. A mother holding her grown son's hands, a couple navigating a difficult conversation, which looked more like a breakup, and children who were fidgeting, trying to make sense of their surroundings. Some reunions were filled with laughter and hugs. Others were heavy with unspoken words. Yet amidst these varied scenes, there was a shared understanding, a silent solidarity. Each visit symbolized a thread of connection to the outside world, a momentary glimpse of freedom and normalcy. In the room, human contact and visits were currency, and each interaction was profoundly significant. In all, it was a snapshot of real life. I was moved by the quiet, unspoken brotherhood that had taken root in the gentle unity among those who reluctantly referred to this place as home. Each person seemed to understand and even celebrate the significance of another's visit. It wasn't about envy. Watching someone get called for visitation carried a sacred kind of weight, a quiet reverence. It's a sign that someone has not been forgotten. Incarceration might change a person's surroundings, their zip code, but it doesn't take away their need to love, to grow, and connect. Real friendship doesn't depend on freedom of movement. It depends on freedom of the heart. Nothing erases humanity. So although I was relieved that I finally made it to the room, still alone, still the man next to me was continuing to shake his head in anger, stating that no one cares about us. Then, over the loudspeaker, "Visit's over." What? What? Just like that? But there was no visit. Did anyone even call for him? Feeling powerless, I pleaded. "I've been here since 8:30 a.m., but more importantly, so has Bartholomew. It took effort and preparation for him. I thought to myself, he even borrowed a pair of shoes for the visit." Some things are just important. No compassion for any of it. I was graciously granted exactly 2 minutes. He arrived in time, long enough for a brief hello and to see the look in his eyes. In his eyes, I saw it all. The effort, the preparation, not for vanity, but for dignity. Behind those eyes, disappointment, reflection, and something that mirrored my own emotions. Sometimes the deepest connections are silent. His eyes were my mirror. We didn't need words. There was a quiet recognition and shared understanding. I felt it deeply. We are reflections of one another. In someone else's joy, we remember our own. In their pain, we confront our wounds. In their flaws, we see our need for grace. Others are our spiritual mirrors. We think we're here to share wisdom, to help, but so often we are receiving it. When I sat with Bartholomew, it wasn't just offering a presence. I was learning. He was a soul worthy of good things, like me, like everyone. We attract the people we need. The most unexpected friendships often teach us the deepest truths. They are not accidents, they are invitations to grow. Pain in others reflects pain within. Forgiveness we give is often forgiveness we need. Our journey is not to fix, but to walk alongside, to see and be seen. Transformation doesn't happen alone. It happens in connection, in holding space for each other's wholeness, whatever that looks like. When we live with openness and compassion, we align with what we hope to see in the world. Healing is possible for us all. Through the people we meet, the pain we face, and the courage to look within. So may we embrace the mirrors in our lives, and in doing so, may we be transformed. As our mirror clears, we begin to understand that we are both the seeker and what we seek. Our shadows are invitations to grow. We are not separate from love, we reflect it. I felt all of this. I met Bartholomew when I signed on to support him as a writing mentor and spiritual advisor. It was a 1-year commitment. After letters, visits, calls, and other sacred exchanges, I came to realize that 1 year would barely scratch the surface. I knew I was in for the long haul, and I had no interest in his history or what brought him to Sing Sing, what events had occurred prior. He led and I listened. Our communications created a hope for humanity, I think, that we were both searching for. 4 years later, still in, still receiving. If we choose to walk one another home, as the saying goes, and share our journeys together, we realize a simple truth, that none of us is really alone. Our hearts, like mirrors, are meant to reflect love, but can be clouded by fear, ego, judgment, by life. Unexpected friendships can help polish that mirror, not by fixing, but by walking beside us, holding space for the messiness and the light. So let's not overlook those unexpected companions on our path. They may be the ones walking us home, and we them. The fact that Bartholomew was incarcerated is not what made this an unexpected friendship. It never really mattered. People are people. Connection isn't bound by walls. Our friendship wasn't about his past. It was about the universe knew what we needed: presence, timing, and unexpected healing. Sometimes the right person arrives before we know we're even looking. That is where unexpected friendships come from. So the spiritual lessons, they remind us that it isn't about fixing. Sometimes we think we're there to help someone, but their pain can reflect our buried wounds. Healing, I learned, is less about fixing and about being present for others and ourselves. And sometimes the most healing thing we can do for another person is to not rescue or reform them, but let them care for us and love us back. I'm reminded that forgiveness starts with us. Hearing someone take full accountability broke my idea of forgiveness. And in extending grace to others, I began softening to my past. Compassion, it doesn't require agreement. I wasn't there to approve, disapprove, or assume. Just listen. That is all he needed. That is how Bartholomew needed me to show up. We sometimes live in our own cages, and mentoring Bartholomew revealed the invisible walls I had built around myself. His growth pushed me to question what freedom really means in my life. Lastly, everyone wants to be seen. We all want to be seen. We want to be known, not just for our pain, but for our capacity to love. And sometimes the people we least expect are the ones that help us remember what home really is. And for most, home is really not a place. It's a feeling. It's that deep sense of belonging where we can stop performing, where we're loved for who we really are, not who we pretend to be. So what do we do with the gift of lesson? What now? What do the stories, the shifts, the truths uncovered? For me, it brings to mind the idea of spiritual alchemy. That's sacred process of inner transformation. It's about taking the raw, unfiltered parts of ourselves, our wounds, our fears, our shame, our difficult lessons, and allowing them to be refined into something radiant. Our healing becomes a kind of invitation. When we show up with honesty, compassion, and presence, we give others permission to do the same. Our transformation becomes a ripple, small, quiet, but deeply felt. And sometimes the most transformative moments don't come from what we give others, but from what we allow ourselves to receive. Letting someone care about us, support us, accepting kindness without resistance, being truly seen without having to earn it. That too is healing. That too is sacred for both. Some of us are quick to help and support others, yet we quietly block love, not allowing others to love us, the gifts they can offer us. In rejecting love or kindness, we are depriving them of that essential gift to love and care for another. When someone lights a spark in us, whether through truth, tenderness, grace, or simply by showing up, it changes us. And that spark, it's not meant to be contained. It's meant to move, to grow, to spread. It becomes compassion shared, love extended, light passed on, a quiet devotion. That's how the world begins to shift. Not through massive headline worthy acts, but through small, consistent echoes of goodness. One heart inspires another. One act of grace opens a door. This has changed me. The path wasn't planned, but it's become one of the most meaningful I've ever walked. The work continues every day, not just for those I serve, but for me too. Because we're all in this together, all transforming, all walking each other home. So the sacred mirror and walking each other home. In closing, let me leave you with this. For me, this friendship became a sacred mirror, showing me parts of myself I hadn't fully seen. That's what real connection does. It reflects one's fears, hopes, and wounds through the presence of another. We have so many opportunities in our daily lives to experience this, to walk each other home, and to move through life together with compassion and humility, even when we disagree, especially when we disagree. Beneath our differences, we all want the same things: to be seen, heard, and to belong. Let us challenge ourselves to use our lessons, apply them to the people in our lives, the loving ones, the challenging ones, and of course, the unexpected ones. I wondered, if we approach these relationships like we were walking each other home, what might that look like? How might we do that? Remembering that everyone is a mirror. What activates us in others often points to something unhealed in ourselves. Before reacting, let's try reflecting. Ask, what is being stirred in me? What is being stirred in me? Allow ourselves to see the soul behind the opinion. You don't have to agree to recognize someone's humanity. Practice fierce compassion, stand for truth without losing heart. Let go of control. You cannot force change, but you can be a steady, peaceful presence. Each moment of reflection is a gift. Let's walk each other home, not further apart, together. And may it be so.
If you like this video, please like us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click on the bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. Thank you.